Hello everyone, welcome to another edition of the Foolish Fish Esoteric News with your weekly updates on the worlds of esoteric and occult book publishing and arts and events and paraphernalia. Thank you so much to miskatonicbooks.com for sponsoring the show. Miskatonicbooks.com are your #1 international purveyor of esoteric and occult books that are maybe difficult to find for whatever reason. Maybe they're out of print, and Miskatonic Books regularly get some difficult to find books. Like, for example, this week they have some hardback copies of the Green Mysteries, very difficult to find books, and they occasionally also do this little mystery box thing where you spend a certain amount of money and let me see, for only $69. That's how much the mystery box is, and then you get a box. You don't know what's going to be inside, and the value is always at least $150. So it's always full of nice surprises, which is pretty cool. But yes, if you're looking for difficult to find books, if you're looking for books where maybe the publisher isn't very reliable, okay, and you want to make sure that you actually get the books that you've paid for, then Miskatonic Books is a really good option for doing that. Okay, let's move on to news from David Hyam-Smith. So I reviewed some of the paperbacks from his latest series of books, and that was supposed to be the last of his books for quite some time, but it seems like he can't help himself, and it seems like the Ibri Gate is out already, in fact, and you can already pick that up. I think that it's not necessarily in the same collection as the previous ones, but it's on sacred geometry as a meditative doorway. The Hebrew root of the word Ibri means to cross over or pass through. The crossing that is dealt with in this book sits between ordinary perception and gnosis. A unique diagram is offered for use in meditation at this crucial intersection called the Ibri Gate. Many examples of this sacred image are provided. Practice with the geometry of the image allows the power of vision to dissolve conceptual networks on contact, to serve as a as a portal through the dense maze of psychological habits and reflexes. This passageway offers the practitioner a non-conceptual glimpse of the ground of all phenomena if the practice is accomplished correctly. The rare glimpses that arise can then be perfected over an entire lifetime. Now, I don't know about you, but that sounds extremely exciting to me. And so that's 72 pages, 21 images, and it's a 6x9-inch paperback book. It's the same size as the recent paperbacks that David Hyam-Smith has been publishing. Doesn't that sound good? Sounds really good to me. Okay, links down in the description as always, so that you can pick this one up directly from the author, actually. Okay. So I just finished recording today's whole video, and I realized that I didn't talk about the very first thing that I was supposed to talk about today, and it's the Book of the Law, the AIWASS edition from Logos 373. And you know that I featured this extraordinary new company a couple of weeks ago, I guess. And I told you last week that they were preparing something very special. Well, wow. Yeah, that is quite a price point. But when you see the pictures, I'm sure you're going to agree that that's not any old Book of the Law. The version of the Book of the Law that I have is, it's a laminated hardcover Book of the Law. And this really is something else. Look at that. Absolutely incredible. So the Book of the Law was, you could say, at least taken down as a dictation by Aleister Crowley, very central to Thelema. This is a very nice edition of it. There we go. I'm sure you agree that this is at least something worth taking a look at. I don't know what happened. I think I just had my tabs in the wrong order at the top, and I it was literally the thing that I was most excited to share with you this week. So that's cool. There you go. Okay, back to the rest of the video. All right, let's see what else we have. So, yeah, Dr. Justin Sledge reached out to me just a couple of days ago to say that he is preparing, or even I should say by now, has prepared a list, a very interesting list of must-reads if you want to consider yourself knowledgeable in the realm of esoterica, of at least of historical esoterica and the occult, then these books are your starting point. And I've had a look at the list, and he's very kindly allowed me to share the list with you guys before it's even made properly public. He's made this post teasing it. But yeah, if you're a Foolish Fish member watching this on Thursday, then you're going to be seeing this list before pretty much anyone else, which is really cool. He's made a video available on his Patreon. So if you don't follow Justin Sledge or the Esoterica channel through his Patreon, I strongly encourage you to go over there, and I'll leave the link so that you can go and do that. And check that out. But yes, I'll give you a little glimpse over here. It's a Google Doc document, and yeah, and here it is, and you can see that it's really well organized, so that you can see like the foundational primary texts. Very interesting primary texts. I'll let you discover that in your own time. And then all of these are Amazon links. Obviously, you can decide to support your own local bookstores if you have access to a bookstore that is in the English language and that can easily order in books for you. But for those of us who don't have that privilege, maybe because we live in a non-English speaking country, or maybe we just don't have easy access to a bookstore, then yes, these are Amazon associate links. So anytime that you click on them and actually make a purchase from there, Dr. Sledge gets a little bonus, like a little commission at no extra cost to you. So you don't spend more on your product just for this. It's just that Amazon pays Dr. Sledge a small commission, in the same way as whenever I show you guys an Amazon link, as I actually will in a couple of segments time. I also get a small commission on those. But yes, look how cool these topics are. My goodness, it's just so awesome. Obviously, this is magic up to, if I remember correctly, up to the 18th century, up to even mid 17th century. So the area that Dr. Sledge is actually an expert at, right? So, but you'll be able to see that there's a lot covered here, right? So there's the primary texts, and then if you want to dig deeper into any one particular topic, you can go into that biblical and ancient Near East, or Hermeticism, or whatever it is. And these are strong, just well documented, well researched books that actually know what they're talking about, which is really cool. Very nice indeed. Ancient Greek mysteries. Let's take a quick look here. Yeah, some nice stuff. All right. Let's move on. And the video talking about this should be released in the next few days, I guess. So keep an eye on Justin's Esoterica YouTube channel. Naturally, I'm sure everyone watching Foolish Fish is already subscribed to Esoterica, and if you're not, then you're missing a trick. Go and check him out. It's very cool stuff. All right, news from Femme Occulte. The new summer 2024 compendium or issue of La Femme Occulte is is released, I believe. No, not quite. 5th of May. It's announced. Excuse me. So this is what's happening this year, it seems. So 2024. Looking at patterns here, we've got spring being morning and then summer being midday. And if we just open up spring to take a look, you can choose whether you want it in Czech or in English. Yeah, you can have a quick look at the contents here, the list of contents. Rituals, the morning. Life phase, the maiden. Slavic tradition, the morning star. Rituals of morning and spring. Herbalism, journey to the roots, etc., etc. So very much phase 1 of 4 kind of thing, right? Yeah, you can just have a look at what's in there. There's some very interesting looking titles. Okay, we're looking at 80 pages there. And then let me just come back over here and have a look at the summer one. Excuse me, that's just been announced, and you'll see that it's all things to do with phase 2 of 4, right? So midday. Presumably we'll then get evening and then midnight, right? I expect something along those lines. Yeah, so you can see the titles there. Very cool. You can obviously put in your pre-orders already, and yeah, that's all really very exciting. I recommend checking out everything else that they've got on their site, you know, having a look at their ritual tools and so on, right? Their previous books, compilations of journals and things like this. Really, really good stuff. That's femmeocculte.com. Links down in the description. Next, we've got Dr. Tamara El Suda, who, as many of you know, I featured this on my news a couple of weeks ago, is coming out with this Egyptian Deities. And that is either released or about to be released. It's a very, very nice hardcover book. But I saw her mentioning on her Facebook page a couple of days ago that there is a deluxe slipcase edition, right? And not very much more money than the original, than the standard hardcover book. This is going to be an incredible book, there's no doubt, but I live in Poland and I tried to buy it, right? So it's $150. The shipping is extortionate, to say the least. I can't remember, it was something along the lines of $80 for the shipping, and yeah, I think I'm going to stick with the hardcover, unfortunately, with a standard hardcover. But for those of you living in the US, or at least in North America, I expect shipping to Canada is going to be at least marginally cheaper than to Europe. That might nevertheless be a little bit more attainable, right? A little bit more reachable. But yeah, it looks really, really cool. Looks really cool. Ah, well, let's take a look. Gilded edges. Yeah, slipcover. Yeah, that would have been nice. Would have been nice. And for many of you, I'm sure it will be nice. There we go. All right, good stuff. For those of you who, like me, are not going to be able to pick this one up, I'll also leave a link to the Amazon page so that you can pick one up from there if you prefer, or if it's just a little bit more accessible, right? And you'll be able to also have a little read of what is covered in, what is looking like it's going to be a definitive encyclopedia of Egyptian deities. It's very, very comprehensive. Really lovely stuff. Okay, so some pictures of Trutmezzer by Fata Acher. The deluxe edition are starting to go around on social media. Some people are sharing pictures and it does look absolutely beautiful. Really, really lovely. So this was a 3 hands press edition, and I've recommended in the past that if you're going to be buying 3 hands press books, it's best to buy them through third parties, through places like Miskatonic Books or Watkins Books, if they're available there. The reason I say this is that while 3 hands press really have upped their game in terms of reliability, I have nevertheless still been hearing of people complaining that they've not received their books and they've written to them and they've not been getting messages back, which is always something that I have to tell you about, right? You have to be aware of that. Nevertheless, doesn't this look gorgeous? Absolutely lovely, and there's no question about it. 3 hands press really makes some of the most beautiful books out there. They're really up there in the top stratosphere of those publishers who are making gorgeous books nowadays. Lovely, lovely stuff. Yeah. Illustrated by Rowan Cassidy. Actually, this is a post by Rowan E. Cassidy, who contributed some artwork for Trutmezzer. Good stuff. Really nice. All right. News from Quareia. So last week, you know that I excuse me, I mentioned that there's going to be a bit of a shift, and well, not really a shift, in fact, an improvement, like a not quite a 2.0, but just the next iteration, making everything better all the time, which Josephine is great at doing. And it looks like the next iteration of the Quareia books is going to be in smaller books. So each section, there are 3 sections. Each section is going to be divided once again into 3 smaller books, just to make it more just easier to put into a rucksack, right, and travel the world with, kind of thing. She's also said, so the second bit of news, and I really recommend just reading the whole spiel. I mean, she says at the beginning that it's a long one, and there'll be rounds of applause if you finish it. But it's really worth reading the whole thing, folks. There's a lot of very interesting information here. So they are updating the course. The ways in which it's being updated is ways where the Magick is still the same. It's being updated in ways so that, for example, links to other websites and other books, which, well, some of them just don't link to the right places anymore. The idea is to make it future-proof, and so they're trying to bake in some of the recommendations, some of the recommended reading into the text itself. There's another really interesting mention that people getting started on the course, whatever they manage to get through, is that's money in the bank, so to speak, as in you won't, if you leave the course for like 10 years, whatever, you don't have to start at the beginning again. That is acquired magic, and you can then use that magic and other traditions or whatever you might use it for, if you decide to go and do something else, to go and do some different magic. So that's really amazing as well, right? That's really, really cool. So many cool details to pick out. I recommend going to check it out. Check out the post itself. In fact, I recommend just signing up and favoriting the Quareia Facebook page if you use Facebook. But alternatively, you can find the same information in the comments simply of last week's news segment, so you can find all those details there. So yes, 3 books that are better sized. The free PDF uploads will also be changed as we go along. Time proof, we're also trying to make it more friendly for people around the world, which is not easy. In the first few modules, I tended to use local language and sayings from Yorkshire that did not translate well, so it's a matter of taking some of those out and using more generic language. It's not as much fun sometimes, but it does make it easier for someone on the other side of the world to be able to understand it. So yeah, you can see it's not going to be like, oh, I did the old Quareia, now I've got to do the new Quareia, nothing like that. It is it's the same content, it's just some little tweaks in presentation so that new generations have just a slightly easier access to it, which is really nice as well. Yeah, you can. Those of you who did the Quareia course 5 years ago can then have bragging rights, there we go, on having done it the hard way. Why not? Why not? Okay, let's move on to news from Black Letter Press, who just released a reminder of their edition of the 3 books of occult philosophy, in fact 4 books of occult philosophy of Agrippa. So that was quite a nice newsletter to receive. Just a little reminder of their really beautiful little editions of Agrippa's work, and they very kindly shared the video that I made just reviewing those 4 books a little while ago now. My goodness, I still had the old Kallax, the old IKEA bookshelves there. That's quite a while ago, my word. Takes me back. Okay, so that was really nice. Let me see, I think this was oh, I'm trying to remember your online name. And it's Millennial Buddhism. I think that's yeah, it's Millennial Buddhism who shared this with me. I think it's Millennial Buddhism who shared this with me. Very cool looking little book that came out last year actually, but I completely missed. Croix Oratory, Rosicrucian Reflections and Resources from a Knight of the Eagle and Pelican. So this is a little paperback. And it's a comprehensive, powerful and transformative system of self-directed inner work. Now these words right there, that's music to my ears. Self-directed is, you know, it's what I love, right? It's one of the reasons why I'm such a fan of Quareia. It's yeah, drawing deeply from the waters of the Rosicrucian stream, with its currents of Christian esotericism, Kabbalah, Magick, Hermeticism, alchemy, and compassionate service to others. I think that's going to speak to many people. I'm sure many of you have already found this, but I was really quite excited when I saw it, and so I thought I'd share it with you this week. It looks pretty cool to me. You can buy it on Kindle. You can buy the Kindle edition. Yeah, that's quite a lot of money for the paperback. So yeah, possibly something to pick up on Kindle. It's had some nice things being said about it by various people who are very well thought of in the genre. Right, there we go. Good. All right, let's move on to some little bit of Etsy news here, and let me think. I think it's Eliza Dis from the Foolish Fish Discord who mentioned this. So it's a tarot emblemata, and the Kickstarter apparently was extremely successful, and the result is now available to purchase, and you can buy it directly on Etsy. And it looks really cool. It looks really, really nice. Now, the question that Eliza I always struggle. I know you've even told me how to pronounce your username, so I apologize. But yeah, I think the question was, is the cardstock nice? And I don't think that to date we have any answer on that. But certainly in terms of the design, it's very beautiful, isn't it? Very, very beautiful. And there's this accompanying book, right? Companion guidebook. Looks very cool. Very lovely indeed. Okay, there we are. Something to look into. £78 is, that's pretty steep, but yeah, I suppose you're getting a nice, presumably nice, certainly nice looking card deck and an accompanying book. I'm sure the Kickstarter would have been a cheaper way to go, but still, yeah, it looks good. Looks good. Good. Marco Visconti has got a course. So this is actually a combination of courses, which, if you were to take them individually, would come to a lot more money than this. I think it would come to something like £800. But he is combining essentially 4 courses for this price of £350 as this immersive, full immersion magic. Level up your magical practice with full immersion magic. Transform, transcend, and discover. So what we're looking at here: Magic Foundations, learn magic by doing it. Magic Foundations Part 2, so 101 and 201. And then there are these 2 additional complementary courses, right? So the Thoth Tarot Magic, the Thoth Tarot, one of the enigmatic decks in existence. Let's decode it together. And then 301, excuse me, let me come back here. 301 being the Holy Guardian Angel experience. Unlock the tools needed to complete the great work. So that's pretty cool. That's quite nice. I'd say that's quite a nice comprehensive, yes, introduction to magic. So if you're just getting started on your path and you're looking for a fast track, then yeah, Marco Visconti's little course here looks like a pretty good option. This exclusive opportunity opens its mystical doors from May 1st, 2024, inviting seekers and sages alike to delve into the arcane depths of magical knowledge and practice for 6 transformative weeks. At the heart of this unique experience is an extraordinary offer: access to our entire compendium of esoteric wisdom for the incredibly reduced price of £350. There we go. Yeah, looks pretty cool, and then you can see what you get and what you'll pay. There we go. All right. You can find out a little bit more about Marco Visconti and see if you like what you see over here. And yeah, sign up to the course. Good stuff. Let's see. So, oh my goodness, I can't remember who reached out to me to let me know that this was available, but my goodness, you went and did it. The Kelmscott Chaucer pigskin leather Winthrop reproduction of the 1st edition, numbered, and I went ahead. The shipping wasn't much less than what was it, the Egyptian, this one, right, the Egyptian deities. But as you know, as you possibly know, if you've seen my conversation with Dr. Sledge on the Esoterica channel, this really is like a book that I've been wanting for a very, very long time. And obviously it would have been nice to get an original, but this really seems to be a 1-for-1 model of the original. And you know, they haven't gilded the edges or anything. It's all unfinished edges. They've got the clasps. It's real pigskin leather. It's really properly embossed, and it's got all the artwork, right, from William Morris and from forget the name of the other artist, the pre-Raphaelite artist. I'm not going to find it here. I should really have refreshed my mind before this recording this video. But yes, I'm super excited. I'm super excited. It is widely recognized to be possibly the most beautiful book ever published. And I'm really very excited. Yeah, I did. I went ahead and I bought that. Considering the original, like, first editions, they go for ridiculous amounts of money. I mean, we're talking about hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars. Yeah, like every time one comes up for sale, it goes for much more. So yeah, I'll take a facsimile. That's okay. And it seems like there are quite a few available. More than 10 available. That means, yeah, anything above 10, right? And they've sold 98 of them so far. Good stuff. And thank you. Whoever it was who let me know that this was available, I really appreciate it. I'm terribly sorry that I've forgotten. As you can see, my memory for usernames isn't great. But it's really very cool. Thank you very much for letting me know that it was available. And then my board game of the week, it's not really my board game of the week, it's a board game that I thought, interesting. And I think maybe you might think the same thing. Conspire with rivals to grow a secret society of Enlightenment sympathizers. It's a board game that was kickstarted a little while ago and clearly just went right over my radar. I didn't spot this at all. It seems like it'll be available to purchase in board game shops, online board game shops, from the third quarter 2023, if I remember correctly. Yes, Enlightenment era thinking has taken hold across Europe. 1776, right? Setting the stage for the modern era. Yet in Bavaria, the Holy Roman Empire reigns supreme, suppressing the dissemination of revolutionary thought and ideas. Those wishing to undermine the Holy Roman Empire's authority and enact Enlightenment reforms must do so from the shadows. University of Ingolstadt professor Adam Weishaupt, aspiring to mold Bavaria to the ideals of the Enlightenment, formed a secret society to make his vision a reality. His society was called the Order of the Illuminati in Pax Illuminaten. Now, I know of Pax Pamir, which is an excellent board game. This is, I guess, another one of these Pax games. Players assume the role of an Aeropagus, a top-ranking disciple of Adam Weishaupt's Order of the Illuminati. You're tasked with accomplishing a series of recruitment plots to extend the reach of the order and grow its web of sympathizers. It sounds well, it certainly sounds different from Monopoly, that's that's for sure. There's very little by way of just details, like there's a how to play here. But yes, on the actual Board Game Geek website, there's not very much there. I'm sure that once the game comes out, we'll know a little bit more about it, and you can keep an eye out on it, if that sounds of any interest to you. There we go, folks. Thank you very much once again for watching the show. Thank you for leaving a thumbs up and for leaving comments. Everyone who leaves comments, I just want to take a second to say thank you. I really appreciate it. I know I've not been very good at responding recently. The renovations really have taken up a lot of my time. I've not been able to make a Saturday video this week once again, and it's very doubtful that I'll manage to make one next week as well. It's just, yeah, there's a lot going on. So yes, at the moment it's a lot of leaving little hearts, but I just want to say, just thank you so much, those of you who do leave a comment. It means a lot to me, even though sometimes it becomes apparent that yeah, that I'm not very good at responding at the moment. Things should start getting back to kind of a normal situation in a couple of weeks' time. We're going to be moving back to our actual flat. I'm not going to be moving back to my bedroom. That's going to be then all the stuff that's currently in my bedroom, right? Pretty much everything from our flat has been moved into my bedroom. There's towers of stuff in there. So we're going to be moving the bed to the living room, which is where I normally have all my books. That's where I normally record my videos. I'm going to be moving all the books back to the shelves. It's going to be a bit of dusting to do before that happens. And excuse me, my son's bedroom will have been completely refurbished by then. He's going to be sleeping in there. I'll be living essentially in the living room with my wife. The kitchen is ready to receive the cupboards and things like that, but it's currently empty. So yeah, there's going to be maybe a few more weeks or even months of getting everything finished. Once we've got everything out of the parents' right bedroom, then we're going to refurbish that. So it's still going to be living in the living room for a little while. But yeah, hopefully by the summer I'll be completely back to a normal rhythm and being able to look after my YouTube channel a little bit, and I'm really looking forward to that. But in the meantime, I just want to say thank you for all of your patience and you know, putting up with some definitely subpar videos. My mind has not been on my work. There's no doubt about that. But it's going to be able to come back to my work. I'm really looking forward to it. And yeah, thank you for your patience. Thank you for still being here. Right. Okay, folks. Once again, thank you for watching the show. And yeah, look after yourselves and see you again with another one. See you soon. Bye-bye.